I really hate it when it's not even a question, but when people be like, I hope that works out for you. I fucking hate that. That's like fuel for my fire. I'm like, oh, bitch, watch out. I'm going to make this shit work now.
Welcome to Trust Yourself.
So I left my heater on all night in here in this little she shed happiness hut. And it was 88 degrees in here when I came in.
You're kidding me.
If I start pitting out, I've left the door open, but
Have fun with that electrical
hot as
bill.
balls. It's down to 78. So, you know. I mean, it's a tiny little electric heater and it's okay.
Balmy.
Hopefully.
We actually had a really, really warm day yesterday. And so we went for a walk, family walk around the block, which, pretty cash, should have been about 15 minutes. The kids decided they wanted to ride their scooters. And then my husband, Sean, he also decided to get on a scooter. And so I was the only one freaking left actually walking.
Loser.
So I didn't want to be left in the dust. So I'm like, hey, Harriet. Psst, Harriet's my oldest daughter. I'm like, Harriet, can I get on the scooter with you? She's like, Mom, that's a bad idea. We're going to crash.
She's not wrong.
Like, no, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. And I hop on the back and we're going downhill and we're going pretty fast. She's like, Mom, slow down. There's a corner. Slow down. Hit the brakes. And I'm like, I'm trying. And we just crash so hard into my neighbor's front yard. I tried to do like the tuck and roll because she's in front of me and I don't want to squish her.
Yeah.
But I landed so hard on my shoulder. I had to text my neighbor later. I'm like, if you have a Ring camera, can you please delete any and all footage from 6:30 to 6:45 tonight?
Don't delete it. Send it to my sister at Trust Yourself Podcast. I need to see that shit.
Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
I'm so sorry you hurt yourself. Maybe next time you should just get on the hoverboard.
Jetson that shit.
Yep.
No, but I got back up. It was all okay. We were fine. We brushed ourselves off.
Was Harriet like, I told you so, Mom?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Oh, girl.
Typical firstborn.
She's never not wrong.
Right. But, that could be actually a good segue into our episode today because brush yourself off and try again.
Even when dust it off and try again. Dust yourself off and try again. Oh yeah. So what are we talking about, sissy?
Okay, so today we're talking about what to do in those moments when you have a really big dream or you've made a decision that really, really excites you, but then people around you just don't get it. Like maybe they're big or small dreams, like you decided to take an improv class or you decided to change careers. You decided to move across the country, start a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, even on a daily basis in architecture or any creative industry for that matter, you have like unique ideas that can get squashed so easily. And I feel like there's that feeling. Ooh, here's how I'm going to tie it into my scooter story. Okay. There's a feeling of sharing something that lit you up, really got you really giddy, like a child on a scooter, right? You're like, woo, flying high. Then you're met with somebody that maybe has a hint of subtle doubt, maybe just silence, and bam, the next thing you know, you're flying over your handlebars and you're smashing your face in the dirt. You're literally like grounded in reality.
Because they were dragging you down.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm asking, how do we get back up from that? And how do we keep going?
This is timely. This is very timely.
Yeah,
I feel like,
right?
Since, we just took some giant ass leaps and started this. However, I feel like you've been getting the brunt more than me because people are like, Heidi, change your job. What's new? Like,
no,
not a big deal.
I definitely want to get into that because you've been doing this a lot longer than I have. But
changing jobs?
Yes.
Job hopping, career changing. Yes, you're right. I am an expert. I am what they call a multi-passionate.
Yes, I love that. I love that phrase. Much, much better. But it is interesting. I did do some research on this and I found a really cool study that it's not cool. It's sad, actually. So according to...
It's cool. It's sad.
It's sad. According to the Global Dreams Index survey, and this had over 14 countries participating, Over half of women worldwide have abandoned their dreams. And actually, in Asia, I think this percentage went up to about 82%. That's wild. Like,
That's
that's
tragic.
so sad. And then there was a Forbes study that went deeper into why they stopped following their dreams. And the number one reason was lack of support, followed by financial pressures, societal pressures, and lack of confidence. But
I
isn't
think
that
that's
just
all rolled into
sad?
one, really. Like
Yeah.
lack of support. It's because your friends, your family don't support you. You don't have the support of the financial support to continue your dream or the societal support. Like it's all about support. And
Yeah.
yeah, that hits home.
It's like it's half the ladies out there. They're giving up on their dreams because they don't feel supported. And I mean, first of all, when you're following your intuition or something new or different, you're already really vulnerable, right? And then when others question it, it can start to shake your confidence and make you second guess. And you end up shrinking yourself to make those people feel more comfortable, which isn't right. That's
Yeah.
so sad. I feel like this is how I felt recently, but let me know if you also feel the same way. But I think sometimes it's actually harder to tell people your dreams than the actual practical steps needed to achieve those dreams. Like, say, trust that money will come in. It's much easier for me to just trust that than to trust me telling my friend that, guess what? I'm going to start a podcast. For me, that scares the crap out of me. I
We're
don't know.
so opposite. It's adorable. I'm like telling everybody. I'm telling my hairdresser, my eyebrow waxer. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have a podcast. I'll let you know when it comes out, and that's what
I'm
we're
so
doing.
proud of you. Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you for finally saying it too.
It just takes me a little longer, but well, it's because this is very, very new to me. So, like recently, I am definitely seeing this in an all new light because I've always felt like I was the quote unquote practical one doing practical things. I have a 401k, I have my biweekly paycheck. And then now doing this, I've just haven't had to face this sort of, I'll call it quiet scrutiny, if you
Yeah.
will.
It's
And
not
Heidi,
always quiet.
that's true. But
No.
you've been going through this way longer than I have. Like with your dreams and goals, and even like shit, even moving across the country. Like you just go with your gut. You're like, I'm going to do this, and I don't care what you say. But tell me about some of the dreams that you've had, and maybe some of the things that people have said to you because of it, or if anything that's kind of squashed those dreams or made you hesitate at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if we think back to when I decided that I was gonna move to Maine, so we visited eons ago, I guess. And the very first time that I came to Portland, Maine, within 12 hours, I was only dating my husband at the time, and I was like, "We're gonna live here one day." And he kind of smiles and nods like he does. And I was like, no, we're gonna live here one day. I'm serious. And
Kent,
then
we love you.
yeah. And we kept going back for various things. Things just kept leading us back to Portland. And finally, I think he kind of got on board with the idea of moving to Maine because he is from Iowa.
Shout out Hawkeyes, by the way.
Shout out Hawkeyes. And so that was like a big deal for him. But then, he started to see all the cool things about it. It felt like home. The people were very similar to Midwest people. They're just very kind. And then there's seafood, there's ocean, there's mountains. It's beautiful. So there really wasn't a whole lot of convincing that I needed to do. But then when it came time where we were actually moving and it was like telling family and everything, our family particularly didn't really say a whole lot, only because I think we grew up moving around a whole lot as kids. So staying in one place isn't in our blood. So they weren't super shocked when I was like, I'm moving to Maine. But Ken's family, of course, they weren't nervous or anything. They weren't unsupportive. They just had a lot of questions. Like, why are you moving to Maine? Like, I think that was the main question. And I can see how that is such a normal question. Like, why are you moving to Maine? But at that time, like, we really didn't have a reason besides that I wanted to. Like, we wanted to. And that answer wasn't good enough for some people. Eventually it was, but it is interesting to see like whenever you do something just for you, people don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't get it. And they're like, wait, what do you mean you're moving there just because you want to? Like, well, I'm moving there because I want to.
Well, because it's your dream, it's not theirs. They don't get it yet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did not understand, but now they love to visit. So
The questions I've been getting since starting this podcast and leaving architecture has been
you've been getting some doozies, let's say.
And in all fairness, people aren't trying to be mean. It's just that sometimes they're unaware of how it can maybe impact my feelings when they say this. But a lot of it is based in security and practicality. And so it's almost always the first question is, well, how do you make money doing a podcast? I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, yes. Don't you think Heidi and I have thought about that? But clearly, we're not doing it for the money right now. That's clearly we're
Yeah.
not doing it for the money. And then also they ask like, why would you leave architecture? Like that's such a stable job and you don't know what's going to happen. Like, what if this doesn't work out? That's another one. Like, what if this doesn't work out? I'm like, oh God, yes, I've already thought about that. What if it doesn't work out? You know what? If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm going to go back to architecture or find something else,
You know what I also hate in the flip side of that question? I really hate it when it's not even a question, but when people be like, I hope that works out for you. I fucking hate that. That's like fuel for my fire. I'm like, oh, bitch, watch out. I'm going to make this shit work now. Like,
Yeah.
if you say something like that, it's gonna, that one gets me.
I think this is where you and I differ so much. So when I get asked these questions, my gut reaction is always, oh shit, you're right. And it makes me so hesitant to even share more, or I just want to stop talking about it altogether. Whereas you, I feel like, Heidi, you're like, this is fuel. Yes, let me show you wrong. You're wrong. I will do it.
I guess it really does kind of depend on who's saying it though too. Because I will say there are times where I get like a really cool idea of something either for marketing or an idea that I want to do for the business. And I'll like run inside and I'll tell my husband and I'm met with like not the level of excitement that I want because I'm like vibing. I'm up here, up really high. Like I'm feeling good. I'm like, oh, I have this great idea. I want to share it. And then I share it. And then because he's similar to you, he's very analytical. It's not like met with an immediate like, oh, tell me about it. I'm so excited to hear. It's all like, okay, well, what does this mean? Well, how much does that cost? Well, how are you going to do this? And it's just all like this logistical questions that that makes me feel like a deflated balloon when I go in there.
And I have talked to you about this before because I do I come across with those questions right away too. And guilty myself. You have a great idea. You're super excited. I can feel it. And my gut reaction is, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, let me process this. And I'm like, this is just my way to process because you already have this information. You have this quote unquote download, if you will. You got this great idea. And I've never heard it before. And I'm trying to go through that same process that you got instantly. And I'm like, how does this work? How does this go together? Okay, where did this come from? And what's the outcome? And so, just remember that sometimes people need to process it in their own ways.
I've learned
So don't take
this.
it too personally.
I don't. I try not to, but I still feel like a.
Oh my God.
A deflated balloon.
I mean, okay, that perfect timing. Yes, it does take the air out of your balloon quite quickly.
It does. But I can blow that balloon right up again.
Yeah, you
because
can.
I know. Like in the moment, it just gives me a little, but it also gives me a time to pause and like really think about it and be like, okay, well, maybe there are some good points that you brought up that I need to think about or think through more. But
yeah, I think those questions, when people come at it from a practical standpoint, I understand that. I get it. There are some questions though. For example, I've been asked this multiple times now. So, Elise, you're starting a podcast. Wow. Are you binging Netflix all day? Like, you
You
must
must
have
have
so
so
much
much
free
time.
time. Like these assumptions.
Yeah.
And maybe it's being sarcastic too. But again, that's when my balloon's just like, what?
Yeah. No,
No.
no, yeah, that does suck. I've had people kind of not say specifically that, but basically say stuff like that where it's like, "Oh, well, what do you do all day then if you just
Yes.
like record a podcast and you're good?" I'm like, "Oh, bitch, you don't have a clue what goes into this. The amount
Yeah.
of time and work and preparation, not to mention the whole social media side, which by
Good
the way,
Lord.
I don't like creating content, but I have to now.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, that is something that I've gotten to, and it is annoying.
I have worked so much on this podcast with you, and I worked late at night, I worked early in the morning, and I'm not mad about it. Like it excites me because this is so cool. I'm probably working just as much as I was as an architect, but the difference is I'm not stressing myself over it. I'm actually filling my cup. I'm so excited, and any new idea that comes in, I'm just like, "Yes, let's go. This is going to take 5 hours, but we're going to do it."
Which, by the way, that kind of reminds me of like when people say, "Okay, well, how do you make money on a podcast?" As the first question, like, "Oh, Elise, you started a podcast, so how do you make money?" Like that is so frustrating because it's like, don't you see how much happier I am as a human being? How much like you already have less bags under your eyes,
Thank
and
you.
you're welcome, and you haven't even had Botox.
Oh my God, no, not yet.
But it's just like as a society, there is so much pressure still on not necessarily doing something because it makes you happy. It's doing something to pay the bills. And you can do something that makes you happy later or on the side.
Yeah.
And I think it's just sad, but it's like your stat that you talked about. It's sad that people feel like they really just can't follow their dreams because, well, it wouldn't make money. Well, you can make money doing goddamn anything. Like, seriously, you can sell friggin' worms. Like,
Yeah.
you can make anything happen. And
Mhm.
whenever you have a dream that is just crazy to some people, I just want everybody to know that you can make it work. And like you were saying, like you were given that dream for a reason and nobody else was given that dream. And so maybe everybody doesn't understand it or they don't get it, not right away. When we were talking about this yesterday, remember how you brought up some like rap songs and
Oh
you're
my
like,
God.
I always thought it was so weird how people would be like, nobody believed me. Okay, that was definitely not a rap. But,
Oh my God.
but like, nobody believed me and might come up and now I'm started at the bottom. Now I'm here.
I
All
don't
those.
think I said this, but I love
Okay. You did. You were saying
No, I didn't actually rap though, but
No,
yes.
you didn't. I was trying to.
I
but
love
I failed. Sorry.
I love it. No, I love
Skip
it.
that.
Yes, how in songs and raps and lots of creative artistic things, people are like, no one believed me. I started from the bottom. I had to make it my own. I'm like, oh, where's the little tiny world's tiniest violin? Is that what they say?
Yeah. World's smallest violin.
Yeah, like Cry Me a River. But yeah, now I 100% see that because it is really hard. Even when you do have support, it can be a lot of support, but you've got like one person in the corner doubting, and that somehow is so much louder than all of the support you have, and it's scary and it's terrifying, and it makes you second guess everything. Like, stop that.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of like with influencers or even people who have like a very strong online presence. It's like you can have 100,000 positive comments and then there's one person that gives you a negative comment or a negative review and people can just stew on that. And it's sad, especially when you're doing something that you love and lights you up. Like my friend Ruby, who does the goddess photo shoots, she was telling me at the women's retreat that I went to a few weeks ago how, she gets all these great comments and people are so supportive of her goddess project where she takes photos of elderly women in nursing homes. She dresses them up as goddesses. They get to dress up basically. They feel so good. They look so amazing. And the fact that, first of all, the fact that people even do any sort of negative comments on something like that
Yeah.
is just disgusting,
Come
first of all. But of course she reads them and then she'll like see one and she says, you know, all these positive ones, but you get one negative one and you just kind of it still weighs. It really weighs heavy on you.
Where's that little balloon again? The balloon sound.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Deflated balloon. Oh, that didn't work.
No.
It's so loud. I know. I just wanted it to make a fart noise. There it is. That works.
Okay, so I'd like to dive into, like, first of all, why the hell do people do this in the first place? Because there's a reason, right? Maybe they're not trying to be overtly and explicitly mean or cruel intentionally, but I think that people tend to do this or question you or have a little doubt in your fears because it's so easy for them to project their own fears when they question your dreams.
Absolutely. Well, and they do it subconsciously, I think, because it's almost like, you know, maybe there's a part of them that's not healed, and that's the part that kind of comes out and says that. And it's something that's totally subconscious because we don't know what we don't know. So we don't know what parts of us aren't healed yet until something like that comes out. I think a lot of people don't even realize what they do.
Yeah. Well, and we're so conditioned to view logic and security as more valid than joy and purpose. So that instantly comes to your mind before the fun stuff. Like, oh, she's excited to do this, but has she thought about a social security and or 401k and health benefits? And yeah, actually I have, but let's look at our priorities a little bit differently there.
That's the societal conditioning and the societal expectations of those priorities. It's money over anything. Like, you're not going to love your job, or there's no great job. Like, all those things that you hear, even growing up, of like, you know, do what you love on the side, or do, you know, you can't, I don't know. It's just
I actually did
frustrating.
get that too. Like, oh, can't you just do that as a side hobby? Well, yeah, we did try it. It's going to take you 10 years to get it done.
There's so much more work than I realized, and so obviously a lot of people realize, because when you kind of had this analogy yesterday too, like football players or professional athletes, like people are like, oh, you just show up and you play a game. Like, oh, you just show up and you record a podcast. Like, hell no. There's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah. Which I love, by the way. I love that we're learning it. So
yeah, it has been fun.
So I feel like people tend to do that, tend to question, project their own fears, tend to steer towards questions on security. And also, like we talked about earlier, just their way to process, right? Like, if you don't really understand it, we're going to ask questions and like, what about this? What about that? It's just processing. But I think the most important thing to remember is that these dreams are yours. It's your intuitive downloads. It came to you. It was meant for you. So of course they're not going to get it. They didn't get the message because it wasn't meant for them. It was meant for you. And also, intuition and these bold ideas, they don't always come with a 5-year plan, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. I don't think, anyway. Yeah, it might make it more terrifying, but not less powerful.
I agree. Yeah. Or you may only get like the 5-year plan and you don't know how to get there, but you're like, oh, I have this end goal that I know I want to get to, and I'm going to figure it out along the way. And people are they're going to question that though too. Like, what do you mean you're going to do that big crazy thing? And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like I need to do that. And I'm just going to take these little steps until I get there.
Yeah. So Heidi, what have you been doing when people tend to deflate your dream balloon? Like, what are some things that you like to do when somebody just stomps in your parade?
Well, I get sad for a minute. I allow myself to feel sad.
Good.
I allow that balloon to deflate, but then I blow that fucker back up. And I'm like, wait a second. No, this is good. This is right. And then I go and I keep telling more and more people that I know are in my in my group that are kind of doing the same thing. So here in Maine, there is the Maine Women in Business group, which is amazing. It's just all female entrepreneurs. They meet once a month. It's fabulous. And it's just a great way to connect with other female entrepreneurs who are hustling just like we are. And they get it. They get the struggle. They get the doubts. They get the criticism that they get from other people too. So finding your core group of people who are doing things that you're wanting to do or doing things already that you want to do or thinking about it.
And they believe in you. That's like you found your expanders, right? They expand you instead of contracting you. And I feel like everyone needs that. So
everyone needs that 100%.
Might not be directly next door. It might not be in your house, but just get out there and find those expanders. I love that. Because I've also, from early on, I feel like I was really selective with sharing my stories. Like I was protecting that spark while it was still growing.
You were.
But you're very opposite. You're like, no, share.
Well, I think that's just the difference of how we expand. You know, I expand by speaking it aloud. I expand by telling more people, because the more people I tell, the more accountability I'm giving myself and being like, okay, I've told all these people, now I've got to make it work. Whereas you're like, okay, let me build it secretly behind scenes. And then when I'm ready, I'll release it into the wild, which is fine. Neither way is right or wrong.
Yeah. I've also been finding that I have been trying really hard. Anytime these questions come up, I don't judge the person that's asking the questions, but first I try to validate myself first. So I remind myself of why I even followed this dream. And I'm reminding myself that it's going to take some time for them to catch up to this brilliant idea we have.
Obviously.
So it's just a new mindset. Got to lift myself up and put on that Teflon coat sometimes.
Be a duck. Let that water roll off your back.
Is there anything else you do?
Well, I got my eyebrows waxed today, so I'm feeling really good. But so shout out Betty from Ulta. She does the best. Betty, we love Betty. But she actually told me something that made me feel good today, because I was talking to her about this. I was telling her how, you know, over holidays or over any time that you're gathering with friends and family, and sometimes, you know, the feedback or what people say, it just kind of deflates your balloon. And I was kind of confiding into her how you felt a little bit of that deflation this weekend. And I was like, well, I didn't feel any of that because nobody cares, because they're all just assuming, yep, Heidi's off doing something crazy again. Aww. And Betty, sweet Betty, says, well, maybe it's just because they just know you're going to crush it, because you crush everything you do. And so they don't have to worry about you. And I was like, Betty, I am taking that and I am keeping that with me today, because that is a great mindset. And so either way, if you get the criticism or if you don't get the criticism, you can turn it into something positive. And I loved that.
That's beautiful, Betty. Thank you.
Thanks, Betty.
I want to hug Betty.
She's the best. She's seriously the best. I'm going to take you there when you come next time.
Yeah, and maybe she can do my eyebrows. I've just been hiding them under my bangs lately.
Yeah, yes, you have.
Okay, I do want to kind of take a step back, though, and think about what can we say when somebody else confides in us about a dream that they might have. So how can we be better dream holders for others, if you will? So maybe thinking about, like, Heidi, what's the worst and the best thing that people have said to you? What should people say and what should they not say?
I'm such an energy person that I'm just like, please just match somebody's energy. If they come in hot and they're like excited, you better bump up your energy to match them and then some, and just be super excited with them. I may be speaking directly to my husband when I'm saying this too, but like match their energy.
Kent is getting a beating today.
No, he already knows this. We've talked about it. He's doing much better. But you know, match their energy, be excited. Then
can I put a caveat on that though? Like you don't have to be excited yourself, but maybe say like, that's amazing. I see you, like you look and sound so lit up about this. Like I see your excitement. You don't have to be that excited, but like,
that's true.
Tell them like, oh, I see how excited this makes you. That's awesome.
That would feel so good. That would feel so good if somebody said that, or even just like, tell me more. That sounds really exciting. Like the tell me more is something that like makes me feel like you're interested or engaged at
Yeah.
least.
Ooh, I love this for you. Tell me more, but not in a sarcastic, like Alexis Rose voice. Like,
Oh yeah,
I love this
Schitt's
for
Creek.
you.
Love that. I love that for you.
I love this for
Yeah,
me.
I do actually say love that for you a lot. But anyways, but I think the what not to do is start asking questions that I mean, honestly, any questions.
Maybe logistical questions, right?
Yes,
You can
logistical
ask
questions.
logistical questions, but maybe not the first thing. Like,
Yeah, not like, so how are you going to do that? Or what's the goal for that? Or does that cost money? What do we need to do for this? Any of those types of questions just feel almost, it's, to me, it feels like targeted, like you're
Yeah.
breaking down my dream.
Or it sounds like they're questioning whether or not you can do it. Like, is that even practical? That doesn't sound very realistic, Elise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the good is just to be open and join in the excitement.
Yeah. Yeah. I will reiterate the don't jump into logistics, don't question the reality immediately, because 99.9% of the time, the person that has this dream has already thought about those things. And yes, they are worried about those things, but they want to just tell you the idea. So I think, yes, reflect their excitement. You don't have to feel excited yourself, but show them that you see it. Support their dream energy. Like, even if you don't know all the details, say, I don't know everything about this, but I believe in you. And that sounds so like something you would do. Sounds like an aligned move, And maybe stay curious, not critical. So you can ask questions, but like, oh, what inspired you to do that? Or, wow, that's so cool. Where do you see this in like a year from now? But not critical or even making it about you. Like, oh, I thought about doing that too, but I never did because of XYZ. And that's probably why you shouldn't too,
Yeah. Well, that's like the unspoken part that we take on to that when somebody says like, oh, I thought about doing that, but I didn't. And then you're like, okay, well, why? Should I not be doing this?
Exactly. Yeah. My favorite comment that I've gotten so far from one of my best friends, actually a couple of my really, really good friends have said this to me, is like, they affirm this bravery and they'll say like, wow, I know this is not easy, but you are so brave that, thank you for sharing this with me. And thanks for trusting me with this dream. And it takes guts to follow your heart. I really admire that. That to me, like, that means the world. Like, just showing somebody that you support them and understand that this isn't easy. You don't have to say anything else. Just that.
Yeah, you really don't. Actually, we prefer it if you don't.
I know.
Just don't. Just stop. It's good. But also, how you even said how, we probably have thought about all these logistical things. But as you're saying that, I was thinking about some of mine. I'm like, some of mine, I don't have any of that shit figured out. But I'm just like, I'll figure it out. It's like sometimes you just have an idea or a dream and maybe you don't have it fully figured out yet. But then when people start asking all these questions, you're like, well, I haven't figured that out yet, but I'm going to. And then it makes you feel like dumb for not knowing it almost.
You trust that you will. You will eventually figure it out.
Trust yourself.
I love this conversation. I think it's really needed, but my big takeaway from all of this is that you don't owe anyone a business plan for your dream. If it's aligned for you, that's reason enough. Yep. And don't ever shrink your joy to fit someone else's fears.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Mic drop. I think mine, I actually really am glad that I had this lovely balloon here with me today because it's almost like a good physical reminder that I can always reinflate my balloon. Like if somebody...
Let's all put balloons up on our desks and just remind ourselves that.
Yes. So my balloon is going to live here. I'm going to name her. I'm going to let you know what I name her later.
Okay.
But yeah, like when people deflate your balloon, for whatever reason, it doesn't have to stay deflated. You can always blow your balloon back up and be like, you know what? Nope, this is good. If it feels good, then I'm doing it. So I'm going to have a balloon buddy.
Yay. Heidi and I know this is all so scary, but we also know it's life-changing. And so we're here for this. We're here for you. If you are going through anything, if you have a dream that you're thinking about doing or hesitant to do, or maybe you've already done it, but you're getting some scrutiny, we're here for you, girl. Let us know.
Yeah, if you're in it right now and you have a story about trusting yourself or how hard it is to trust yourself, please send us your story. We would love to start reading stories on our episodes. That would be so fun. So send your story to stories@trustyourselfpodcast.com, and the link is in the show notes. And also, if you have some big, scary goals, but you're still not quite sure on how to take that first step, please reach out to us and book an SOS call, which is all about seeking out solutions. So Sissy and I will help you. We'll do an energy read. We do tarot. We also tap into spirit guides and speak with loved ones, but we really give you a clear picture on what your next steps should be. And we also teach you how to tap into your own intuition so you can start listening and turning up that volume. So link in the show notes, check out our website, SOS Calls.
Yes. And speaking of tarot, this is going to be one of our first times. We are really excited. We decided that it'd be probably pretty fun for our sister group here to do a tarot pull for the week. And so we're going to do our little intuitive nudge or a gentle message from the universe to carry with you this week. And so Heidi's going to be your guide and pull a card and, take what resonates with you and trust what speaks to you.
Yeah. So, so hopefully this isn't super loud when I'm going to shuffle these real quick. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my deck that is Spirit Song tarot deck, and it's my animal deck. And so I feel like there is going to be a animal energy that we need to embrace this week. Ooh, this is awesome. Okay, so I got the gazelle, which is number 0, which is also the Fool, if in traditional tarot. But this is all about adventure and potential and just taking those leaps. This is so perfect. I love that this one came out. Seriously, the Fool is all about taking leaps and trusting yourself and just going for it, no matter what anybody else says. The gazelle just leaps. Oh my gosh. And then the second one that came out was number 1, the Magician, which is all about creation and willpower. And this one is displayed as a raven too. So yeah, so the Traveler and the Magician, aka the Fool and the Magician, it's all about creating and going for it. And that could not have been better. I'm so glad that those came out.
Oh, I love that, Heidi. I think tarot is so cool. But yes, take what resonates with you, but remember that you already have the answers within you, and don't hesitate to follow that nudge. So,
can I do one more? Because I got excited.
Oh yes,
I have an oracle card, an oracle deck that I want to pull for just the week ahead for our sisters and the energy. Oh, and we got love and compassion. Aww. So go out there, spread love, take your leaps, and trust yourself, and start creating.
That's beautiful. And until next time, it's your move, sis.
Make it count. Bye. Watch me pop it. I burst my dreams.